Welcome back into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. Day 2 of the NFL Draft is a few hours away, so we are doing a Day 2 mock draft for the Cowboys and some top Day 2 targets with 2 picks on tap. But maybe they trade down in the second, try to acquire a fourth. Actually, that'd be a pretty good idea by Dallas. We'll see what they do this day. Now, we are in a sub-battle with a variety of chat sports channels. The closest one right now for the month of April is Bears Now. We are 21 away. Help us get there. Hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. You get free videos, coverage of every single pick as well. Now, this is the Cowboys' remaining draft capital. They still have 9 picks to go. The problem is that 7 of them are at 149 or later, all of them in about 100-pick situation there. 44, 76. Cowboys had offers to trade down, but they weren't good offers to trade down, so they elected to stick and pick with Tyler Booker in round 1, which still leaves a lot of notable needs left for this team to potentially try at least to fill. The best available for me, and Will Johnson fell because of medical. That would make him a prime Blue Star Special player if he got there. Who's to say if he gets there? Mike Green's got character stuff. Luther Burden didn't have as good of a year. I know I'm higher on him than most people. He was a 30 visit. That is worth mentioning. Nickam Warry, the safety from South Carolina. At 27, we're at 33. This is just like I was fractionally higher on him than where they went. So only 3 guys that were really the top best available for me. Donovan Ezeraku is there. Edge isn't a huge need. I bet they take an edge anyway. Again, the value. I would love TreVeyon Henderson at 44. I would be surprised if he got there. I'd be surprised if any of these guys in this top 10 or so actually got there. Carson Schwessinger, the linebacker out of UCLA, had some late round 1 buzz. I like Xavier Watts a lot. This team's not going to take a safety. For me, they never take a safety. Shavon Revel was a 30 visit, has a medical out of ECU. He probably would have been a top 20 pick had he been healthy. We might have to do the Shedeur Sanders talk at 44 this time. I don't like that idea, but he continues to slide, and the longer it goes, the more plausible it becomes, even for a non-QB needy team like Dallas. Trey Amos at 41 for me. Caleb Johnson, if you want to run more outside zone, that works well. Don't know how that fits with Booker, kind of a somewhat unique fit. Mason Taylor, the tight end from LSU, will probably go pretty early today. Ariante Ursary is the offensive lineman. Benjamin Morrison's got medical as well, but if it weren't for the medical, he would potentially have been a first-round pick. So I'm curious if this team goes back to the Blue Star Special ways of take the character guy, take the injured guy in round 2, and get the value, get the steal. It could work out pretty well for them this year. Who is your dream round 2 pick? You can go with, a Burden, a Johnson, a Henderson, whatever. Let me know in the comments section at the pinned comment of today's show. The ad comes here on YouTube. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Let's go to what the profile looks like for the Cowboys here before we get to the mock draft. They have made 1 pick in Tyler Booker. I think most of us agreed, wide receiver, running back, DT, corner. Those were all bigger needs for the Dallas Cowboys. That they needed to address those positions. They chose not to. So how you can fill your number 2 receiver hole, your running back hole, your DT needs, your cornerback depth, I can't do that with the picks left. So something is not going to get filled in terms of what I would have liked to address. There are 8 known 30 visits left. And I'll make note, by the way. 9, because there's Jonah Savaiinaea out of Arizona, which I assume they're not going to take another offensive lineman. That'd be, boy, I'd have a lot of questions if they double-dipped on the offensive line with this class after doing it last year already. Sometimes the 30 visits, they take them off the board afterward. Whether they didn't like the interview, the medical didn't come back well. So you have to make note of that for guys like Luther Burden, who there's been some complaints about the way he handled himself at Missouri, I think a little bit, but I think he just didn't have as good of a year, so that's why he fell. I don't think it's character. He goes early in round 2. That's why I think it was. Collins is a calf issue that was in a boot, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Shavon Revel's got the medical stuff, but Bhayshul Tuten is probably a 3rd-round candidate. Quinshon Judkins could be there in the 2nd. Darius Alexander could be there in the 2nd. Collins, Mukuba might be kind of in between your 2nd and 3rd-round picks. I would do bad things for Luther Burden. I think his after-catch ability makes him an awesome football player. I was very high on him because I loved him in 2023. The quarterback play was terrible in 2024. As long as you trust the person, which I haven't heard that much negative stuff on it. Like, I would take him in a heartbeat at 44. I don't think he gets there. Maybe Will Johnson's medicals make him fall. And you get to just take the corner who I have as a top 10 player, which I would have dropped him further had I known about the knee issue going into the setting of the big board. That kind of came out a little bit later afterwards. So the medical is a big question mark there. Make him a Blue Star Special candidate. Ask you who your dream pick was. Now I want to know who you think they actually pick. Who do you think the Cowboys take in round 2? Get to the mock draft in just a second, but let me know in the comments section of today's show. All right, the sim picks. Ran it on PFF, so, the good guys all went earlier, right? Shedeur Sanders is gone. Will Johnson is gone. Donovan Ezaraku is gone. Mike Green is gone. Trey Amos. TreVeyon Henderson, I would not rule out back in the second. I think that there's a scenario they just take him in the third, but I'd be intrigued by that one. Nick Nick Scorton, Luther Burden goes 41 to the Bears. It'd be really cruel if he got like 3 picks away and then he got sniped by Jack Besh goes to the Jets. Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame goes at 43. I think there's a scenario in which there is a run on receiver and or running back before you get on the board at 44. So I had done Shavon Revel in the final mock draft. I always do different players because that's boring to do the exact same one. Let's keep an eye on Darius Alexander today. It brought in for a 30 visit. At some point, you probably want to get a defensive player from Matt Eberflus, but maybe you go 3 straight offensive picks. I would not be mad at that. They want to find more depth along the defensive line. I think Alexander is more of a 3 technique, but I think he's a good run defending 3 technique, and he's bigger than someone like a Walter Nolan is. I think he could hold up as a key rotation piece for you. I would have some issues about, you need a nose guard. Alexander is not a nose guard to me. But this was a 30 visit for the Cowboys. There's been some buzz. They like him quite a bit. It was allegedly down to Walter Nolan and Tyler Booker. It's kind of the inverse of the Mozzie Smith, Matthew Bergeron pick in round 1. I wouldn't rule out DT. I would also not rule out back Quinshon Judkins out of Ohio State. All the backs were there. I kind of doubt that. I think there's a real chance one of Judkins Johnson goes off the board in round 2 before you pick. All the receivers are there beyond Jack Besh and Luther Burden. So whether you're an A.O. Manor fan like I am, a Jaden Higgins fan, a Jalen Knoll fan, a Jalen Royals fan, whatever, I think there is the possibility of that early run on wide receivers that could. Trey Harris, also worth mentioning there. Early run on receivers could cause some chaos for you there. Shavon Revel, I think, is a prime Blue Star Special guy. I like Xavier Watts a lot, but it's the safety pick the Cowboys never make. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. It is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. That's up to 2,000 times your cash. You can cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup. Whether it's points, rebounds, assists, take your pick of more or less for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. It is the best place to win cash while watching sports. You can also get in on season-long football Prize Pick slates. Boy, don't we feel kind of good about the more than CeeDee Lamb receiving touchdowns with not going receiver in round 1 and Dak Prescott more than if he just stays healthy is going to happen. Breece Hall, the less than rushing yards there. He's never gone for 1,000 yards. The Jets are going to be in a committee. I actually like the less than a lot there. So if you haven't already, download the app today over at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It's Prize Picks. Run your game. Now, when I did the sim, all the receivers went. Which I was actually kind of surprised and upset by. Alfred Collins went. Dylan Sampson went. Trey Harris, Jalen Knoll, A.O. Manor, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Royals, all gone. All of them gone, which is not a good thing. I do think Bhayshul Tuten's a prime candidate at 76 for Dallas. I want to not pick the same player every time again. Let's go R.J. Harvey. I think if you want an explosive running back, this is your guy. I think he is a playmaker at the position. He does have a tendency to bounce runs to the outside, but he gets chunk plays for you. He's fast. He's dynamic. He's a creator. I think if the Cowboys are finally being honest about we want to run the football better, guard running back round 1, round 3 actually does, help accomplish that in the end. It's a question of, no matter what happens, guys, I can't get a running back, a receiver, a corner, and a defensive tackle. I can't get enough picks to do that on day 2. So something is going to get left out. It's the downside of taking a guard. Other options, Damian Martinez, I think, is a good candidate for the Cowboys in the 3rd. The best receiver was Shavon Williams. I don't have him in the 3rd. I have him in the 4th. That'd be a reach for me. But he's also not a real receiver. That's very gadgety. Jack Sawyer was there, which I was a little surprised by, but I like him. 2 corners, keep an eye on. Noel Williams at a Cal. Jacob Parrish. Obviously, Azaria Thompson's already gone. I think they did some work on Quincy Riley as well and named the monitor. I think you got your top 4 needs. I can't fill them all. I can't. Maybe they ignore corner and just go sign Stephon Gilmore after the draft. That could be in play for them. What is the biggest need left? Wide receiver, CB, DT, or RB. Can't fill them all. Something's going to get left out. Let me know what the biggest one left in the comments is of today's show.